let's finish up the Red River Campaign, the Battle of Pleasant Hill. S&T, number 108 or number 106. What the date is on that thing? Let's see, I never did look at that. March to April of 1986. An SPI game, TSR game, however you want to look at it, it's got a little flavor of both. So we got to 11 turns out of 12 before we called this finished, because I don't think Johnny Reb's going to be able to do what Johnny Reb needed to do as far as taking objectives. I'm not going to lie to you, this thing was a bloodfest. It was quite a good push up here. The Confederates were, I was trying to turn in, and in this game here, of course, with your sequence and play, you know, if you are the active player and one of your units gets routed or pinned or out of ammo after you've done move in combat, that's when you get the chance to rally, to resupply, and to remove pins. So what was happening is the Confederates' best firepower was defensive fire when the Union was on the attack. And they would chase them away. And of course, the Union units are a lot stronger in manpower. And the morales are pretty balanced in this game. There are some cases where the Union have better morale, and there's cases where the Confederates have better morale. So, but this thing here, I went after it aggressively. There wasn't this, I wasn't, employing this stop and shoot from 100 yards type stuff or 200 yards type stuff. I wanted to get her and mix it up. The artillery can't really get them in, at least as far as the Confederacy goes, to good enough positions to provide heavy damage. You didn't want to move them in. You don't want to move them in too close to the infantry. The Union lost 2 batteries because of that. They were too close trying to provide firepower. And I'm going to tell you what, when cannons are 1 hex away or 2 hexes away from an infantry unit, and they roll a high dice roll, now granted the charts are a little minimalized in this game, the combat charts are, but the potential to do massive damage to an infantry unit was there. And there were a couple of cases where these Napoleons over here, which have been now reduced to 3 guns, did some heavy damage on approaching infantry units, which I tried to avoid putting grunts right in there straight beside or, right adjacent to that artillery. But when you want to overtake them, you pretty much don't have any choice. So the Union kept doing this route, recover, come back up. Route, recover, come back up. And at the same time, they were doing just enough damage to the Confederates, either pin-wise or maybe routing a unit here and there to chase them off, so they would have to do the same thing. So while they managed to push the brigade that started way out here out of the way, and by the way, they wrecked a bunch of them. They got through the woods, but they could never make that turn up towards Pleasant Hill. And this attack over here on the right, that's pretty much where it has been for the last 4 or 5 game turns. The Union would just keep, finally, they never had to activate these 2 brigades here because each one of those would cost them 5 victory points. Would give 5 to the Confederates or -5 from the Union. So I was doing everything I could to not activate those, and it turned out didn't need to. So when I first calculated the victory points ratio, I had the Confederates winning with like a 22-point advantage. I don't know, I did it like a turn or 2 ago. And then I said, oh, wait a minute, I didn't add in the victory locations. So after I added in the victory locations, which the Union still held 1, 2, 3, 4, it became a plus to the Union side. So this thing ended up with being plus 15 for the Union. And it was a tactical. I wrote that stuff down here. It was a tactical victory for the Union. My thing's starting to act up again. So it never really got beyond that. I knew that 1 more turn the Confederates were not going to be able to do it. So you can look at the counts there, and it was 3,900 killed for the Confederacy and 400 captured, 4 guns lost, and they had 4 wrecked brigades. Now the big key was they lost a division commander and 3 brigade commanders. All right, that hurt. On the Union side, they took 4,000 killed, 1,700 captured, lost 8 guns and 2 guns captured, and they had 4 brigades that became BCE. So it ended up being a 15-point to the Union side. It was 140 to 155, became a Union tactical victory. Great game. I mean, I had this. I mean, this, like I said, this was and not my typical style. Thankfully, it's because there's not a ton of pieces on this game. I said, you know what? To hell with it. We're going after it. If a brigade became BCE, you had to be cautious. But I was like, you know what? One of the brigades on the Confederate side was Burns's brigade, who he went BCE, but he BCE'd at half of the brigade's strength being lost. So he still had half a brigade left, pretty much, which was actually seven or 800 men. I said, well, I'm going to keep attacking. And, if they get lucky and one unit does not rout when he gets hit, the rest will hold their ground. If one routs, then guess what? They all take off running. So, they all retreat, and then you roll for morale. So, yeah, we're finishing this up right here. Turn 11, the Battle of Pleasant Hill, Union victory, Union tactical victory, which is the lowest level of victory they can get. And what a great fight. You want to play an easy, early Great Battles of the American Civil War game with not an overload of counters? Here you go right here. There's no reinforcements. Everything starts on the board. You just have release times on the units. So if you got it, get it out. It's fun. It's easy to learn. Play it. This Hexy, let's post this thing, closing this one out. And by the way, I think this table is going to stay empty because my Into the Woods is on the way. I'm trying to save a table space for that game when it gets here. Talk to you soon.